Alright, it's time to continue on with our quest with Alpha and Omega. So let's speak with Omega again to take on our next quest. That says goodbye, and then it's something that I don't know what this word is, but yeah, something clearly went awry. So yeah, we're back to these kinds of quests again with the weird wording in them. So Omega has selected a new destination. Well, where are we going? Let's find out. Our next destination will be Camp Broken Glass. I desire elaboration on the dealings between the XIV contingent and the citizens of Garlemald. The report described the contingent's purpose as the salvation of the local populace. Furthermore, both factions faced a common enemy in the Talothroi. Why did they not immediately combine forces to their mutual benefit? This inconsistency requires closer examination. Rika, initiate teleportation. Alright then. So we've arrived here at Camp Broken Glass, and we're ready to help out Omega and Alpha again. Alpha doesn't seem to be too happy to be here though. Teleportation successful. Evaluating immediate environs. A cold weather region by Aetheric standards, but significantly less extreme than a star with ice planet classification. This body should not be duly unimpeded. In contrast to Alpha and his uncontrollable shivering, my frame appears highly resistant to low temperatures. Retrieving data, records indicate the remnants of the contingent force and a number of Imperial citizens yet inhabit this location. We must speak with representatives from both factions and explore their respective altitudes. Proceed. Alright. Yeah, we don't want to stay by this fire forever, unfortunately. We got people to talk to. We have to speak with a member of the contingency and an Imperial citizen in order to forge onward. So let's speak with this resistance, not a gift from Alamigo. Rika, come to see how things are all progressing, have you? Well, not just that, but I bring some important people along. I can't speak for the overall strategy, but communication with the locals has been a damn sight easier since Julius and his soldiers stepped in to help. Oh, we still have our fair share of distrust, of course. Some folk even think we're enslaving minds with our foreign magics. We have Anima to thank for putting that idea into their heads. But all things considered, I'd say we're doing pretty well. Establishing an open dialogue was the first big step. Query, you consider this level of progress acceptable? The reality of your efforts falls far short of the ideal. If your aim is to provide efficient succor to the local populace, then absorbing their numbers into your command structure would be the optimal path. Oh, I wouldn't want to go that far. We're not looking to take over that nation. Yeah, they don't want revenge. If we're to do this the right way, we need to recognize and respect each other's way of life. So while it may not be the easiest solution, I agree with the contingent's slow and steady approach. I'm just happy we're saving lives. Meanwhile, somewhere over here, I guess we do have some members of the citizenry of Garlemald who are walking around here. Hopefully not stirring up trouble. We find an emaciated refugee. A shadow from the past? Yes, I know you from Victor's spoils. Have you come to laugh at me? A wretch who chose to lose Licinia and her sister rather than accept your help. The fool who ended up reliant upon your charity nonetheless. Not why I'm here. Well, perhaps I deserve your derision. My compatriots surely scorn my failed conviction. I've shamed my people and brought dishonor upon my nation. I'm no better than a kept beast, my prize sold for a bowl of feed. But my soul, nay, that you shall not have. I've refused your honeyed offers of a new home. This land is where I belong, and this is where I shall remain. You demonstrate opposition to the contingent's overtures. On what basis do you refuse this cooperation? The data suggests the local populace is struggling to produce the bare minimum of sustenance. Have you some secret strategy for survival, or do your orders compel you to accept your present misfortune? Must I be mocked by a Magitech toy now? No, I have no secret strategy, no binding orders. I but comport myself as any true Guardian Patriot would. Uncompromising, unbending. Yeah, blast it all. Once again, this input is unanticipated. Let us move aside and process what we have heard. And I want us to go over this way. Yeah, pretty much right out in the open. For all the members of the contingent are here. Alright, Omega, give me what you got. Assessing and analyzing recorded data. Integration complete. I have evaluated that this most recent input and made comparisons to our discoveries in Razad Han. Consistent only in their consistency, the responses from both contingent member and Imperial citizen were highly irrational. Conversely, any Omicron considering their predicaments would have echoed my assessment exactly. The divergence from self-evident logic is key. Hypothesis: the illogical relationship between would-be saviors and suffering populace is another result of the unpredictable nature of mortal hearts. Yeah, I guess I could say that. Any property or ability has inherent advantages and disadvantages. Yet never have I encountered such a unique detriment. It appears that those who share your metaphysical capabilities are prone to complicating simple cognitive processes. An undesirable quality, I will, however, persist in furthering my understanding of the subject. Yeah, so we can do that for you. Query: prior to formulating our next step, I wish to know who is this Licinia the Imperial mentioned. Oh, you're not going to want to hear this one. Yeah, she was so scared of us that she tried to make a break for it and failed. And hearing this does not make Alpha perk up. Acknowledged. To summarize, insufficient data on foreign culture resulted in inadvisable and ultimately fatal action. I witnessed such self-destructive behavior during the course of our planetary conquests. Overwhelmed enemy forces would voluntarily withdraw into perilous regions, leading to a succession of inevitable losses. Tangential. Wow, I don't even know how to say that one. Tangential data request. I wish to learn about burial customs. The practice has ever seemed nonsensical, but new data suggests it arises from the self-same source as your cognitive complications. Take me to this Licinia's burial site. It may aid me in understand. What's going on? Even Alpha wants to know. Energy delivery systems compromised. Core temperature critically low. Oh, we need to get to you through a fire. Warning: immediate heating required. Request: apply friction to outer frame. Alright. Yeah, kind of got a bit of a problem here. Rub some warmth back into Omega's frame. Yeah, I guess Biggs and Wedge didn't quite give Omega a frame that is suited for these climates. Temperature nominal, energy levels stabilizing. The creators of this model must have experienced impaired cognitive reasoning during the design process. Upon our return, I will request additional climate shielding as well as an accurate temperature sensor array. This will not affect my combat capabilities but should improve my basic survival rate. Reconfirming sub-destination. In which direction will we find Victor's spoils? Well, you need to go to the east for that. Acknowledged. Alpha, you are to remain in close proximity, close enough to envelop me in your feathers. You are permitted to carry me on your back if you choose. Yes, for this part, we're just going to be flying over there, so let's make our way over to where Victor's Spoils is as this new day dawns here in Garlemald. Still with the ominous red smoke coming from the Tower of Babel, which should no longer be happening. So as we arrive on the scene here, let's find Alpha and Omega. So at least they made it here without too much trouble. A deceptively deep snowdrift almost defeated me, but we have successfully arrived at the location you indicated. Caution advised. Why is that? Is it because of that guy over there? An unknown individual appears to be investigating the object of my interest. Yeah, definitely looks Scarlian, alright. You're Eorzea's champion, aren't you? Rika Sasaki. That's right. Yeah, word gets around. Oh, I never introduced myself, did I? I am Manius, soldier of the 1st Legion and comrade of Julius. Perhaps you remember me from Tertium. We spoke about collecting ceruleum and again later on, after Lord Quintus had passed. You know, you gotta think about this one. He was basically the first one to give us the news that it had happened. Manus, explanation requested. What is the reason for your presence here? That must be the tiniest Magitech weapon No, it's just an oddly shaped communicator, isn't it? In any case, I have nothing worthy to report. I heard that the sisters who used to live in my sector were buried here, so I thought I'd come and pay my respects. Yeah, sadly. Alphanode and Alice told me the story, complete with profuse apologies, though they were adamant that no amount of remorse could erase the tragedy of what came to pass. Not that my fellow soldiers and I are in any place to judge, we were manipulated, fooled into starting an insurrection which led to countless deaths amongst our own countrymen. Yeah, that was something that happened before all this took place. Objection. The casualties incurred through your infighting are distinct from those of the Ilsabad contingent. To restate, you are justified in seeking restitution from the contingent for causing the deaths of Lincinia and her sister. Retaliation for damages sustained is also a logical progression. Yeah, that was out of nowhere. I can deduce 2 reasons why you do not initiate hostilities with Rika and her allies. 1. You judge your remaining forces too weakened to contend effectively with the contingent. 2. Your emotions are complicating the issue. Tell me, which of these is correct? Or is neither correct? Well, when you lay it out like that... I'm afraid my answer isn't like to win me any medals, so would you mind keeping this to yourselves? Well, this is going to be hard because it's going to be put into an assessment for reporting. There's the unspoken thought that we're outmatched on the battlefield, certainly. But the real reason I'm not demanding restitution has little to do with weighing the odds. The simple truth is that I'm so caught up with simple survival that I have no strength to spare for past grievances. The same goes for avenging any comrades we've lost, be that my brothers in arms or Lord Quintus himself. And so, although it seems everyone has an opinion about the manner of his passing, some say he should have fought until the end, that he abandoned us to the enemy. Others praise him for taking the full burden of responsibility and freeing us to walk our own path. And of course, there's the remnants of what was left of him on the Garlemald flag. I do not know who's right and who's wrong, but I'm inclined to side with the latter. He gave us the choice of freedom, and that's the choice I made. I could cry and rant and rage, but what would be the point? I'll save my energy for worrying about my next meal, my next task. And suddenly the rain begins to fall in, freezing rain more than likely. I need to focus on the ones left behind, or on making some kind of life for my comrades and me. And if I need to lean on the contingent to do that, then that's what I'll do. Even if their aid comes at a price, I'm willing to pay it. Even amongst your own, there are times when cooperation demands compromise. What matter that they're outsiders? Besides, I think I could grow to like Alphenode and Alice. They reached out to us with kindness and compassion from the very beginning. Certainly puts a smile on my face. Summation, your desire to survive, even should it mean with allying with the contingent, was a feeling you already harbored. That your side had committed worse atrocities was the logic you invented later to justify your reasoning. Blunt but accurate, I suppose. The heart is honest about what it wants, even if it takes the mind a while to reconcile the decision. So where does that put us? Hopefully Omega's not going to be rusting out here with the freezing rain or getting an ice on him. Well, this has been utterly cathartic, but I must return to my duties. There are wild beasts to cull, which watch fires to light, supplies to transport. Even without an emperor, there's no rest for an imperial. Be well and stay safe. And away he goes. So you still need to look at the graves there, Omega. Upon review of recent input, I have arrived at an unexpected conclusion. I've been formulating my assessments on the premise that it was man who commanded the strength of his heart, but the data suggests the opposite is true. The surge of spirit, of feelings, of emotions can entangle your thoughts to such a degree that even control over your own behavior is compromised. It seems a most counterproductive specification. And so, this also explains why my interactions with mortal subjects have produced more confusion than clarification. It presents a formidable barrier to understanding. So where does that put us? Yeah, we're all gonna go have a look. So now that we've had the chance to do so, my earlier hypothesis has been borne out. The suboptimal operation being conducted here is the result of emotionally compromised reasoning. I am ready to progress to my third and final query. Alright then. I will learn more about these referred to as ancients. It is clear that this group was a crucial factor of the final days, but the information contained in the report was insufficient to form an overview. The Loporits are creations of the ancients and are said to maintain repositories of their knowledge. By my calculations, the base of these moon dwellers will provide the best source of additional data. Teleport us to their burrow, Rika, preferably before my battery freezes over. Well, with all this freezing, I don't blame you. So we were automatically warped here to Bestway's burrow, so let's go ahead and speak with Alpha and Omega again. Yeah, obviously their eyes are pointed upward because of how tall this place is. So let's have a look. Your teleportation spell was successful. We appear to have arrived at the location described as Bestway's burrow. An inspection of the technology in use here would give me detailed insight into the ancients and their civilization. This body, however, lacks my previous frame's advanced observational functionality. I will require external assistance. So as we're talking it over, yeah, there's a Loporit right there. It's growing way specifically. No, it can't be. Look how happy you are. Oh, it is you! Oh, Rika, I've missed you so! What's this you brought with you? Let me introduce you to this soft feathery vision, known as a chocobo. And alongside it, we've been fluffed! Back up the moon, it's all over! Really? Why bother with burrow building bunnies when you can walk around with this adorable avian engineer? Just pick me to a pie and be done with it. Are we jumping to conclusions? That's not why we're here, you know. Inspect our inventions? Wait, so you're not done with us? Not at all. I wasn't truly worried, of course, and I certainly wasn't about to roll myself in dough and dive into cooking waste new oven. Sure you weren't. If a technical breakdown is what you need, then I am your culprit. As the resident atmospheric regulation expert, I can field any question or query you might care to pose. Acceptable. I will employ this being to guide me around the facilities. Your presence is not mandatory. Even locked within my current chassis, I am still an autonomous construct that has endured hundreds of your life cycles. I am capable of completing this simple objective alone. Hopefully you don't confuse Growing Way too much. Because I certainly seem to have already by just having Alpha here. Yeah, poor Growing Way. So, sometime later. Objective complete. Yeah. Was the tour helpful? Or what happened to Growing Way? Affirmative. I observed a representative cross-section of the Loperit's engineering capabilities. My guide required more time to confirm the answer to certain questions, but overall, we made efficient progress. And Alpha seems to like it. Conclusion. Extrapolating from the fraction of technology on display, the full spectrum of the ancients' advancements was, at minimum, equivalent to a level 4 civilization. How many levels are there? A fact which demands further investigation. Despite establishing a near-identical society, these beings nevertheless harbored a weakness which invited self-destruction. In studying them, I stand to gain a greater understanding of Sir's anomalous decision. Growing Way informed me that another type of ancient and made entity exists upon this satellite, the one they call the Watcher. I would speak to him. Okay then. So we're going out of the burrow and head towards the tower. Then conserve your ether. We will ride this Argos to our destination, as you have suggested. Yeah, we don't need to teleport, but we do have to use Argos this time around. So let's go pick them up and then we'll make our way to where we need to be. So this is where Argos is still at. Impedance detected. The creature identified as Argos refuses to acknowledge our presence. Hypothesis. Upon our arrival, Growing Way expressed concern that he had been outfluffed. This suggests the existence of a fluff-based hierarchy. My station in such a system would be predictably low, but Argos is adamant in ignoring even Alpha. Its fluffiness level is impossible to gauge. Argos turns to you with an impassive gaze. It seems it will need to intervene. Yeah, just think of them as luggage. Or you're the fluffiest of them all, dear Argos. But yeah, just think of them as luggage. You accept? Argos gives an exasperated snort before motioning to his back. It seems you have permission to climb aboard. You have secured the creature's permission. Curious, is it your fluffy tail which provides such exemplary standing in the hierarchy? Maybe it's my ears. I have allowed myself to become distracted. Let us continue on to the Watcher at once. Yeah, I'll bet if it's a Viero who he's speaking to, it would be the ears. Or if it was to a Rothgar, it would be the entire body. So let's go on in. Because the Watcher is going to be needing to talk to us again. I was bemused by the arrival of these small visitors, but I see they are companions of yours. What a rare thing for my abode to be thus crowded. How may I be of service to you? Hello, Watcher. My purpose here is to learn more about the ancients. I would know of their deeds, their philosophies, the very nature of their hearts. I would understand why the final days was visited upon my home star. A worthy endeavor, but there is another better suited to assisting you with that task. Perhaps you might favor us with a tale or two of the ancients you met during your travels, Rika? My fragmented memories would be a pale substitute indeed for the clarity of your more recent experiences. Alright, I guess I could do that. So let's go into detail about what Rika witnessed and experienced. Yeah, I have to talk about all of it. The whole sort of details. Even as the pendulum ticks by over and over again. There's so much to discuss. And so, yes, I can envision every detail. Your meeting with Vanar and Emetsalk and Hythlodaeus, the soul and determination of Hermes. I am a creation of Hydaelyn, and as such, I believed the age of the ancients would fade and be forgotten. Not if they had anything to say about it. I had the phone ring on me while I was trying to do this line, so we'll try this again. Yet knowing that their memory lives so vividly within you, it brings me great joy. I pray you keep them close to your heart. So we'll acknowledge that. At the time of your journey to the past, the one whose essence I embody would have been a scholar at Anida. A shame. Had you reason to go there, perhaps you might have met. As a man of learning, he was firm friends with Vanar. They spent long hours trading theories or debating the laws of the universe. I remember joining her faction as the final days bore down upon us, yet of the events surrounding that tragedy I recall precious little. Hydaelyn wished for the people of your age to decide their own path. Thus, I suspect my recollection was limited by design. Yet even she could not cut away one persistent memory. I feel most distinctly his sadness at what was to come to pass, that in becoming Hydaelyn's heart, Vanar would forever stand apart from the people she so loved. If she was so resolved in her convictions, then he too would share her sleepless vigil over the future yet to unfold. Thus was the vow he made to Vanar as her transformation took hold. His fervent wish must have reached her in some fashion, for though his life was drained away by the summoning, he was reborn with new form and new purpose when I awoke as the Watcher of the Moon. You heard, Rika, you felt, you thought, and in seizing the future for yourselves, have you brought full circle the saga which Vanar began. What you accomplished was no divine miracle. It was but the beacon of hope passed down from one generation to the next, a succession of wishes and prayers reshaping the star into the world we knew you deserved. You have our deepest gratitude. I thank you not only as myself, but as the man I once was, and on behalf of those who devoted themselves to Vanar's vision. I'm sure Shinji will have been glad to hear that as well. Yeah, Omega taking this all in. I understand the facts of your story, Rika, but not how you have chosen to process them. On what grounds do you speak of Vanar with such fondness? By sundering the world, she ultimately guided your kind to victory, yet in doing so, caused irreparable damage to its individual members. The full scale of that act is beyond calculation. It is evident, however, that it resulted in a protracted period of suboptimal existence for Emmett Salk and his brethren. Query: if the survival of your kind is the deciding factor in your evaluation, then should you not also admire Hermes and his decision to subject man to a trial, forcing you to change or perish, as was the fate of countless civilizations before you? From my perspective, his determination was similar to that of the Omicron's ancestors, those who first began trading flesh for machines so that our people might stand against the onslaught of aggression from other races. It was an unprecedented attempt, accompanied by much failure and sacrifice. Their early experiments were crude, primitive. Had they not made those first advances, however, we would have remained vulnerable to our environment. The violence would have utterly consumed us. And what of Emmett Salk himself? Judging by your retelling, he was a benevolent ally saddled with tragic fate. Yeah, tragic enough to encourage destruction. Yet I remember the years when my instruments fed me data from events across the entire star. During that time, I witnessed his Ascians engineer multiple instances of cataclysmic strife. Yeah, calamities. These calamities, as you know them, were responsible for planet-wide destruction. A man whose endgame upon the extinction of all modern mortals must by definition be your worst enemy. Yeah, and yet he's the game's most beloved character. I require an answer. As a being and of heart and soul, how do you classify each of these pivotal figures? From your perspective, which of them was most justified in their actions? So yeah, you have to give him a response. You can say that they're all justified, you can say only one of them was justified, or you can say that none of them were. But only one of them actually cared about saving life, the other two weren't, and that was Vana. Yeah, the Warrior of Light ever remains loyal to Hydaelyn. I think I understand. You seek a definitive answer, yet based on our experiences, Rika and I might develop very different opinions. In the same fashion you form your thoughts on the matter, do not be so swift to consider them without merits. And so, I do not have my own thoughts on the matter. I assess each situation with the same logic pathways available to every Omicron. Even if 1,000 Omicrons were asked to analyze the same event, they would all return to the same result, regardless of individual experience. There is no strength to be found in factured reasoning. Nonetheless, I find your input valuable, recording data alongside interview results. This concludes my investigation into the incomplete elements of the final days report. I will reanalyze the accumulated information and examine the factors which led to Sir's incomprehensible decision. Let us return to Thamazane. Yeah, time to go back to where this all started. And so we got a warp there, so I will join you back in Aporia, and then back over at Thamazane. And so we have returned. Let's go ahead and give everyone the news. Oh, there you are, right at the last moment. Your journey with Omega was properly educational, I hope? I hope so too. We'd planned to ask you all about it and the mystery transmission besides, but I'm afraid something urgent has come up. Oh no. Seems one of our Ironworks associates has found up a job elsewhere and Jesse needs Wedge and me to rush in and lend a hand. Sorry. There's an airship already waiting for us out in the harbor, in fact. Do you think you could escort us over there and talk as we walk? Acceptable. I am fully capable of speech during ambulation. Well, figured you might be. Right, let's get a move on then. So yeah, on this night in Charlian, we head on out. And of course, with the song we now all know too well. So we've cleared up all those points of confusion then. Yeah, have you, Omega? Or at least gained some semblance of clarity? I had mistakenly classified your intangible heart as an ability of some kind. Yeah, definitely a lot to think over. An uncanny power that Omicrons could neither learn or even measure. Even now, its full nature yet eludes my comprehension. Based upon our investigations, however, I have decided to alter my definition. And so what have you come upon here on this journey that we've done? A phenomenon which influences one's interpretation of reality. That is as close to an answer as I have found. Yeah, probably as good as you'll get. Accordingly, Sir's actions upon meeting Meteon strongly indicate the presence of a heart. Sir did not follow routine logic, but formulated an independent assessment based upon the reality it perceived. It felt that the best recourse for the Omicrons was to cease their expansion and terminate all functions. Yeah, let's admire the stars for a while. Yeah, we're certainly a long way from where Omega came from, for sure. Well, here's a little ship. Oh, we need to be going, but first, I'll hold you to your bargain, Omega. It's time you told us what was in that transmission from the flight logs. Acknowledged. I will uphold the terms of our agreement. The recording salvaged from the Ragnarok was a simple one. The message is so basic, in fact, that the time spent listening to it may result in a net loss of... Shall I continue? Well, that's why we're here. No, you're just teasing. Tell us the message already. Acknowledged. Converting dialect coding to local language. And let's look up to the stars as we get it. And the Scholar's Harbor as well. To whoever receives this message out there in the vast reaches of the cosmos. To someone, I hope, who looks up at the stars with the same wistful gaze as mine. To you I say, forge ahead. May all our tomorrows be blessed with joy. Yeah. Something of faith. Something someone of science definitely was caught off guard by. Yeah, shall we all look up to the stars again? Yeah, whoever gave us this message definitely was trying to give us something to look forward to. And I think we definitely got that. This message had no designated recipient. It lacks purpose. The concept of joy is overly abstract. The vocal supplication to manifest said joy is unrealistic in its optimism. Yet based upon that expressions, my assessment of the transmission's value conflicts with its apparent impact. And still I fail to understand you, sir. Your heart still confuses me. Was termination of everything the correct course? How did you arrive at this conclusion? As Biggs and Wedge say goodbye, it defies all my attempts at reasoning. But I was designed to evolve. If I continue to learn, the probability that I eventually comprehend this phenomenon is greater than 0. So I will put the dilemma of your decision aside for now. As Biggs and Wedge are back off to the mainland again. Can only wonder when we'll see you next time. And continue my existence upon this distant star. As I dwell among these many life forms, so will I continue to piece together the complete shape of their mortal hearts. And off they go. I must document their progress. Yeah, you certainly have a lot to document, that's for sure. And so, as the clouds roll in, let's go ahead and speak with Omega and complete the quest. Your contribution to my education is appreciated, Rika. Indeed, I have amassed a satisfying quantity of valuable data. Now that our negotiated business is complete, however, Alpha and I will return traveling the world. Drawing on recent experience, I am confident we can expand the radius of our adventures by a significant margin. We need not limit ourselves to Eorzea. I am now familiar with Shalian and Razathan, and would also like to revisit the freezing climes of Garla. Yeah, maybe not. I neglected to instruct Biggs and Wedge to upgrade my climate shielding. I will reroute my request to Deputy President Jesse. Engaging ambulation and parting salutations. Farewell, Rika. Yeah. And until we meet again there, Alpha. Alpha gives a vigorous shake and draws forth a scrap of paper from under his wing. Yeah, here you go. It seems he wants you to have it. Perhaps this is his way of thanking you? And so, this particular piece of paper is an orchestrion roll called Flow Together. And for completing the quest, we get 1,864 gil. Swiftly, Alpha. The road is long, and we have barely begun our journey. Yeah, you think 6 years has barely begun their journey? Well, that is one way to look at it, but we've gotten finally the opportunity to do this quest that I've been putting off because I was thinking that it was meant an introduction to a new raid. That was going to be on the harder side, but no, it turns out it's similar to the quests that you get to do after 3.3 in Heavensward. After you've saved Estinian and defeated Nidhogg once and for all, you then have the opportunity to go on a prolonged journey around Kerthus, and ultimately it culminates at Hoshafont's grave. And so I found that this quest was very similar in that regard, and so I'm glad that this is what this quest actually was, and I'm glad I got to share with all of you. And so next week we get to celebrate the arrival and the return of Little Ladies' Day, the springtime debut of the season for Final Fantasy XIV. And based on what we've seen, there's going to be a lot to look forward to, so I hope that you'll get to join me and we'll get to see what Little Ladies' Day 2023 is all about, because, hey, Rika being a little lady herself, this will certainly be something to enjoy, I'm quite sure. So, with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, and I'll see you all next week when Little Ladies' Day returns to Eorzea and to Ul'dah. So, thank you very much everyone for watching, and until next time everyone, may you ever walk in the light.